canceled. She did our first sanctuary, Sued for Life.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. Nice filter.
Yeah.
Got some pushback.
Yeah.
Kind of entertaining. Kind of
The more
fun.
pushback you get, you know you're doing better.
Exactly. When you're ticking off Satan, that's a good day. That's a happy day. All right. Anybody else doing anything in the community they want to share? Go, girl.
If any of you guys watched the recent Pray Caucus video, I was the reader of the pro-life segment of that.
Hey. We had our caucus meeting, and that whole section, I didn't realize how long it was. It just kind of didn't, it was amazing, wasn't it? Yeah, and it was like kick butt. It was fabulous. All right. Go, dude.
Whenever I get disillusioned with that whole arena in politics, and then I sit in our caucus meeting and I view the video, I'm reminded that, all right, there are true principles, and I'm reminded of my role, that I'm a delegate, of holding our candidates to those,
Amen.
The pillars of that platform.
Very good, very good, very good. All right, Gail.
Well,
Gail is the matriarch of conservative politics in the entire state of Utah. Okay, let's just put that out there. Go, girl. Okay, I could have called you the Wonder Woman or the Queen of All. All titles.
I still have a yellow cookie.
I have my yellow cake. You have great resolution.
Well, two things. You mentioned the platform. That platform is so important, more important, I think, than most people realize. And the national platform, I have served on the national platform committee several times, and the founder of Eagle Forum is a lady by the name of Phyllis Schlafly. And the pro-life platform that we have nationally came from Phyllis Schlafly years ago. And we battle every year, some years are worse than others, to save that pro-life platform. And the last part of our platform here in the state of Utah is in the national platform. So the platform, if you're delegates and you can get on that platform committee, whether it's a county or state, or if you are a national delegate, it is important to, sometimes we take it for granted, and it's shocking sometimes you'll get there and you're just shocked because somebody has made a motion to make a change. And sometimes the change seems little, but it's not. So I would say, please, if you can get on the platform committee, make sure we have friends on that platform committee, always.
Yeah.
So that's just one thing I want to mention, because that came up. And the other thing, not most, but a lot of the things that I do has to do with legislation. And that legislation is really important. And in fact, to show you how important it is right now, a few years ago, in fact, it was the night that Riverton voted in favor, of your, what do you call that? Your resolution. Yeah, your resolution. And we had just talked just before then, and I was telling Mary, I said, we need a trigger law. Because I knew it was coming. I knew we were going to overturn Roe. I mean, I know we were.
He was the only one with faith.
Yeah, that's how it would always go. I'd say, it's never going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And all of a sudden I had this strong feeling we had to have a trigger law because it was coming and it had to be in place. And I'm bringing up Tanya here because I was standing next to her husband and I stood there and I looked around and I said, Dan, you want to sponsor our trigger law? He didn't miss a beat. He didn't even ask for details. He said, sure. And I'm just
Senator Dan McKay is her husband. Talk about power couple for pro-life. Hello.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, the best presentation I've ever heard in the legislature, pro-life presentation, Dan McKay
Was he
gave.
talking about Mother Teresa?
That was Mother Teresa. I mean, he served his mission in India and he worked with Mother Teresa. And when he finished his presentation, there wasn't a dry eye and there wasn't a Republican that voted no.
Even the Democrats, I mean, everybody was a mess.
Yeah.
And he talked about caring for the
And to
babies.
show you how important that was, 2 years later, Roe was overturned. And so legislation is really important. Now, right now they're still killing babies in the state, and we grieve every time we talk about it because that bill, that pro-life, that trigger law went into effect for 3 days. 3 days, and then Dan was there, and he was getting it done, making sure that very day that Roe was overturned, that our trigger bill went into effect. That was amazing, and you just never know. And I think of all those legislators that voted for that trigger bill thinking, oh yeah, just a trigger bill. Never gonna be going back, never gonna happen, and 2 years later, there it was. So we're, that's the bill we're in the courts with. It's a bill that says that life begins at implantation. That bill was the very same bill we passed back in 1991, and it made it all the way to the Supreme Court. It got served. That's a big deal. Marilyn can tell you, very few bills get served. And we didn't, meanwhile, we lost by and white, which would have given us the votes we needed to overturn Roe. We would have overturned Roe in 1991 had we not gotten another Supreme Court justice. So, little things that you're doing, and you never know. And we took that bill from 1991, and that is far too long. It was even in effect for 3 days. We waited all
Okay,
these
so
years.
Gail's bringing up some important points. What did she do? She responded to a strong prompting. So, especially in the community world, you're going to get strong promptings to do something. I remember walking across my room with my laundry basket. The Lord said, "You're starting a coalition." I'm like, "What?" And at the time, I was working 2 full-time jobs and went, and that's when we started the Abortion for Utah Coalition. So you never know when those promptings are going to come. So number 1, respond to promptings, right? Number 2, be part of the legislative process. In Utah, if you are on the pro-life or Utah Eagle Forum, you will get text alerts and send out those texts. I wish we could have had Mike here, right? He would have talked about the impact of all those texts that they get, all the emails that they get. If that's all you do, and it says, just fill in this thing, and they send it out for you. It's not that hard, guys. If that's all you do, that's huge. And we have seen people come testify. One of my all-time favorites, a Down syndrome young woman and her mother came, and they were talking about the Down syndrome bill. Sorry, guys, ears for these ears. And they were talking about the Down syndrome bill that would ban abortions on Down syndrome. And I'll never forget it. The mother said, and here's this young woman, she's like 80, I don't know. She just comes in and she sits down, and I'm thinking, what's she going to say? And she said, in our history, we have sacrificed babies to dumb idols and gods. But are we any different today? We're sacrificing babies to the gods of easier life, convenience. I mean, it was just like, boom, like a drop. And she said she had this daughter, a little girl, she's probably 45, young Down syndrome, and stands up and says, I have a right to live, I have a right to life. I almost died, and my mother's made the doctors fight, and my mother made the doctors fight for my life. And she says, I have a right to live. And then she stands up. Do you remember this one? She stands up and she goes, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you, and I love you. And I'm thinking, who's handicapped? Yeah, hello. But it was powerful testimony from 2 people that normal, average. It was amazing. It was total. And then the Democrats, how did they vote? No. I mean, you did. I mean, they just didn't. Okay, so what questions do you have? What concerns do you have? What interests do you have? Why are you sitting here in your butt? Okay, why did you pick here to come? Go ahead, sister. I can forget my brothers and sisters. How fun is that? Sister, why are you here? What do you want to know?
Well, first of all, I'm proud to be a citizen of Riverton.
Woo-hoo.
I'm here because my daughter is very involved in pro-life activities, and we live together. My husband passed away, and so we live the 2 together. And she's gotten me interested, and I just want to get more involved, so I need to learn more about it and find something I can do.
Find something you do. And I think that that's a good first question. Where do I fit, right? When you're giving back, I mean, my starting was what? Crocheting, sneak a little baby down, because that's how I fit at that point in my life. So I think that's a really good question that you're probably all asking, aren't you? Mm-hmm. Where do I fit right now in giving back to the community? How can I use my gifts, skills, and talents to do something? Very, very good question. I love that. Next, Katie, who's this?
Oh,
Yes, Carolyn. Why are you here? Why are you sitting here? What do you want to know about the community? Is this your daughter? Yeah, hello, I can totally tell. Go ahead.
Same thing, really.
A little louder because I have hearing aids.
The same thing that she said. I just just watching my mom being a part of a bunch of this kind of stuff for a couple of years has just been piquing my interest. I'm actually changing my major to marriage and family studies, fun fact.
Woo!
See where that
Who did not? I mean, if I heard temporary, I'd change my major on the spot like that. Awesome. Okay, so this is something that intrigues you. You've watched your mom do it, right? And you kind of want to find your niche as well, right? Okay, who else? Sister, why are you here?
I just wanted to know what else I can do in the community. I mean, how do you become a city that's a safe city for life? I mean,
Yeah.
I would love to.
What city are you in, girl?
Linden.
Linden. Oh, we haven't done Linden yet.
One thing I would say is, consider volunteering on a city, like volunteer committee, and consider running as a delegate, running for a precinct, becoming a precinct chair. Consider running for city council or the Utah House or the Utah Senate. We need people up there that are pro-life. And if you're interviewing candidates, ask them, what's your view on pro-life? They need to hear that. They have to be held accountable.
I am a delegate.
That's
Good
great.
girl.
Yeah.
Good start. I love it.
Yeah.
Digging it.
But then talk to your city council members and say, hey, I hear that there's, 9 cities in the state that have passed resolutions in support of the
In
unborn.
the Utah County, and just say, why aren't we there?
Yeah.
How do you get a hold of something like that? I mean,
Oh, get the resolution?
yeah,
Yeah, hello.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have that. Yeah. But, and I think it's always good to say, and I served on city council for about 8 years, and my mental thought was every person that comes to talk to me represents 1,000 people. And so even if they're only on the city council, they still, in Planned Parenthood right now, we killed the charitable status in Utah County for Planned Parenthood. They're still appealing and fighting it like that. But they have to prove charitable good to the community. We said, let's see, you give out birth control, and you killed this many babies, not good for the community. So start attending meetings, start talking to these people, okay? Start and say, and you can, I wear my pins, and I hand out the pin, right? Don't we hand out the pins like that and say, I hope you will be pro-life and wear this to every city council meeting. Can you imagine? That'd be awesome. Right, Kate, why are you here? It's my neighbor. Because I dragged you.
Yeah, she says, I've never had friends support me in what I am fighting for. And she said, call your girlfriends and let's come. And I'm actually the only one that ended up coming. But I grew up pro-life and had pro-life posters on my wall in my bedroom. And not the pretty ones, they were the awful ones. Yeah, but it was a reminder, and I grew up going to the march in January every year, and just kind of followed my mom.
Yeah.
And as crazy as my mom is, at least I got that.
She is crazy, but that's okay. She did that good thing. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good. Isn't that okay? So, and I think one of the phenomenal things we do is we model. We model by showing up to the March for Life. We model when we talk about it to our relief societies, to our friends, to our extended family. On my dear passive husband's side, 0. They do nothing. Well, that's so sad to say. Don't hear me. For the community, like on anything. And so they just look at me like I'm some freakazoid. But the influence has been pretty remarkable over the years. So that modeling, look at what your mother modeled for you. That's phenomenal, right? So we're modeling whenever we're doing that. So take your kids, take your grandkids. We do the March for Life. I can't tell you the babies in strollers that are coming, and I'm like, you're doing it right. Thank you very much. And we have here that have brought their teenage sons. I'm like, oh yeah. So that modeling, especially when we're bringing them out into the community and letting them see things and speak, amazing. Amazing, amazing. Back here, Emily. Why are you here?
Oh, where else would I be?
All right, so let's pop out some ideas. We kind of get a feeling for people want to know what's out there, and people want to know what they can do. Should we start with those 2 questions? Okay, let's start with what's out there. And I think Gail and Catherine and all you guys would agree. Start with an existing organization. I can't tell you how many people come. We have this, I want to start an organization, do this. I go, yeah, it's already out there. Okay, so start with what's there now. It will give you a good learning ground. So let's review some of the ones that are out there. Utah Eagle Forum. There's an Idaho Eagle Forum as well, I would assume. And that's for, you just have Utah, okay. And so there's Eagle Forum, and they do a broad range, but they do a lot of family and a lot of family. Okay, so that's going to be the organization. And for each one of these organizations, you're going to want to get on their mailing list because you're going to get the notice of, oh, we're having March for Life. You're going to get the notice of, here's the latest bill that's going through, and we need to fight it, or we need to get it passed, or here's the speaker that's coming, and you can begin to get educated, right? Does that make sense? So you're going to get on their lovely mailing list. Eagle Forum's a good one. Pro-Life Utah. What else have we got? What do we have comparable in Idaho to Pro-Life Utah? What do you guys have up there?
I'm still learning because I'm still pretty new there. Who's the Idaho rep for Eagle Forum?
Actually, I think we just got a new one, so I'll need to.
Okay.
Okay, so tap into Katie and tap into Emily if you're in Idaho, because there's pro-life everywhere.
Yes.
There's another a group called Pregnancy Resource Centers, PRCs. These are typically run by evangelical organizations and congregations. Some have very rigid that you have to sign on, and it's about the Trinity, and we can't, okay? But some are far more open. Ours is far more open, and I've done, I had them actually, when I was new here, I had them come to our ward, do you remember that? We did a homemaking meeting, who knows what they call it now, and we made things for the PRC. And we had them come to our Relief Society and do a presentation on who they are and what they do. Hello! How awesome is that, right? So that allows us to talk about it in a church setting while connecting people to the community. So PRCs are great. Go find your local one, take a tour, ask them if they like blankets, all right, and diapers. Okay, so go check out your PRC and see what they have available. They are typically, they usually offer free ultrasounds. They offer parenting classes, how awesome, and fatherhood classes. They also provide supplies. So they're a wonderful resource, and we partner with them all over the state of Utah, and they're everywhere, okay? So go check out your local PRC, wherever they are, and ask that lovely question, how can I help? And bringing them into the Relief Society. So we made bird claws, and we did encouragement cards, and we did something else that I can't remember. Did some Afghan blankets where we tied blankets. Yeah, I can't remember what else we did. Anyway, super fun. They do a bottle drive where they do baby bottles, and you fill up the baby bottle with donations. Super fun, easy, right? Easy. So that's another one. Pro-Life Utah, you heard about. We have our local clinic. Did she, and I'm sorry, I was running back and forth, and I thought I've heard her a million times because we did this together. Did she talk about what happens when a woman comes in? So a woman comes in either through the online or right in front of Planned Parenthood walking in to get their abortion, or from friends or family or whoever who has referred them. We meet with them, Pro-Life Utah meets with them. They offer them, they assign 2 volunteer support women to them to drive them through the blizzard and watch their dog, and if they need to go to the safe house, and you name it. They are offered a life grant up to $3,000. In fact, if you want to do something amazing, we have individuals and groups signing up for the Save a Life Partners, where for $3,000 donation in a year, you get to be part of that group and you get to save a baby. And you will get the baby's picture, and that will be your baby. So if you want to do that with either yourself or your extended family, or just like my sister Andrea that you've seen running around like a chicken with her head cut off, she's doing it just, all her running friends are getting together and putting in $50 a month. And she got 5 of them together, and there's $3,000. And so they're saving a life every year. How cool is that? You can have your own little album with baby saved. Super cool. So if you want to do that, we offer that life grant. That's the deal kicker. 85 to 90% of the women coming in for abortion are doing so out of economic necessity. So if we can solve that problem, 82% change their lives. So there's that. We've got sidewalk advocates. We have the baby showers. Cindy Strong is in charge of those. Aren't those so fun?
They are fun.
They're so fun. Yeah. They're so fun.
Can I bring up one other idea?
Go.
The second Saturday in May is Birth Mother's Day. And I had a lady that I ministered to that, she was like, I never tell anybody, but I gave a baby up for adoption when I was in high school. And I try and remember that day and put a shout out on social media and say, thank you. I cannot think of a more selfless act, but I think that we need to show more love and appreciation for women and families that choose to give their babies up for
Absolutely.
adoption instead of abortion.
Suzanne, that you see running around, she's adopted, and so she tells her story. They tried to get her birth mother to abort, and she would. And so Suzanne is here because of that.
Oh, I remember about 15 years ago, in one of the wards, they had a fifth Sunday, and they talked about the options that these young mothers have, and they said that one of the interesting statistics is that when they choose to adopt, that 80% of them, because of that sacrifice, go back to the temple or go to the temple. They want to be temple ready and want to change their lives because they might make that sacrifice. And a couple other things as I was thinking, some of these charter schools, Camber Academy, I know some of these have young kids engaged in entrepreneurial things like in your son's books. And one of the ideas is to raise a son like that can reach millions with books.
That's kind of long. That's the long.
But a lot of them are starting to do their own little things and, donate some of that to, for pro-life or write little booklets.
Elections and the drives are super helpful.
Mm-hmm.
If you sign up for the Abortion Free Utah Coalition, we do those routinely. We just did a diaper drive that kind of went a little bonkers. Hundreds of cases of diapers. So we're good with diapers. But I love the young people when they call and say, what can I do? And so we had, in fact, one of the boys came up and he said, I was the one that did the diaper drive last year. I'm like, oh. So having your kids, grandkids, kids in the community do that. Inviting our youth groups at church to collect whatever, receiving blankets or bottles or, diapers and wipes are always, high demand. Check with the organization you're going to support first. For example, if you call me at Pro-Life Utah right now, I'll say, thank you, we're jammed. But what we could really use are strollers and car seats, right? So check with them first. But I love that. Thank you. Drives and collections, super, super helpful, okay? Especially fundraising, because that's the one that saves the life, okay? So what if you got your relief signing together and said, yep, we're all going to do a collection to save the baby? Okay, how cool is that? Okay. Yes, go.
I was just going to say that's what Marcy was just saying to me. And she was saying, we are the Relief Society. Why aren't we doing more of this? So what's your feedback on that? Tell us.
So it's the salting the Dorito bag that I mentioned previously. I find, I've spoken all over the country to members of the church all over the country. One, we are a following, obedient people. We often wait to be told. Okay, right? Don't we see that everywhere? And so we wait to be told. Trust me, if the relief sign came out and said, we're doing this, what would happen? Ballistic, right? But when it comes to members, when I put out and say, okay, I want everybody to chip in, I'm going to put a basket on my porch, I want everybody to throw in a gift card for these moms, it's different, okay? And so it's going to be up to us. I think the second thing is, especially after President Nelson's talk on contention, everybody's kind of almost gone too far. We're not going to talk about anything. And do you remember his, we don't believe in peace in any price?
Oh, yes.
Okay? We can do this work without being contentious. We can do this work and say, we love and support the moms. That's what we're doing. We're just loving and supporting the moms, guys. And it's hard to fight against that. So we can do it in a way that is not contentious. And if people try to be contentious, say, you know what, I'm just not going to go there. This isn't the right place. We're just not going to go there. And just refuse to engage, okay? But, and I think the third thing is, LDS people tend to be very, very busy with their families, which is our most important thing ever, okay? But between that and their church responsibilities, they often feel like they're drained dry. But I often say to people, I want to be able to stand before the Savior. And all those little excuses are just people, right? I was afraid. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know what other people would think. It's kind of political. All those excuses. Just leave it. But kind of that's my feeling. What do you guys think? Is that kind of about where we are? Yeah.
This is something I've been trying to figure out, how, with this whole thing that you're talking about back to family. And I've discovered
just to kind of get out of the, not that we're in tunnel, but when I came to Idaho, I reached out to all the coalitions to ask if I could present. I reached out to some legislators to see if they needed help. I mean, if there's something that we can actually help with and we don't want to run for the offices and sit in the seats, they could use help. I helped Julianne Young put together a Family Strong, Idaho Strong, Family Strong website where she just wanted to teach people how to get involved with the legislative system. And then she needs somebody to help her write some of these policy briefs so she can pass things. You know, some of these other things, but initially why I raised my hand was really what can we do as individuals? And I found myself, I'm not running for any office, I'm not doing the usual things, but I found myself being led to tell my story of my experience with pro-life work through the music. And so I'm presenting in a month my story with music, you know, so, and that's not anything extra on me. Is my emphasis is I am busy with my family. I'm busy with those grandkids I never thought were going to suck me in the way they did. I'm busy doing what you just said, but all the extra I'm doing is what I already do as an individual. So sometimes reaching down deep of, okay, what am I actually already doing that can be shifted just a little bit? I'm into music, so I shifted a little bit and they have come together. And it hasn't taken extra time.
The Lord's really good at that.
Yep.
He's good at giving you blessings and then weaving them together to get your work done, right? Okay, we're out of time. I will say this. Start salting the earth, please. We're coming, thank you. Let's salt the earth. Let's get out there in the community, even if you're stuck. Okay, so goal 1 for those of you that are newbies, can we set a goal? Raise your hand. I will show up. Show up at the march. Show up at Utopia Forum. Show up at LDSFL Zoom meeting. That's how Mary Taylor started. She made a covenant with God. She's not LDS. She made a covenant with God to show up. That's how she started. And then you start, and then the Lord will say, he'll say, that sounds appealing. The Lord will go, yes. And then the Lord will go, keep going. And then he'll make you do all the fundraising.
Yeah. We can't do everything, but we can do something.
These little pins that Kelly just talked about, these do all kinds of things. I wear them everywhere. And people ask about them. I pick them off and give them to people. I give them to teenagers. That's one thing in the church. I give them to young women teachers all the time to give to all the girls. And then they love to come and show me, the girls do. And the boys, the American Heritage teacher gives them out. And the boys all.
I wear mine to church.
Yeah. That's
we wear our church. We give them to legislators.
Grocery store. They go through the grocery store line. Somebody asks about it. As soon as they ask, I tell them what it is. I show them the little feet, 10 weeks.
I see these 10 weeks, fully formed.
Look at these old toes. And then I hand it to them. I take it off and hand it to the clerk. She puts it on. And I grab another one and put it on and take it to the next person. That's like a missionary work for the babies, and you don't have to do anything. They ask you.
Just buy a bulk.